My father and his two brothers were born in America, and when they were still quite small, their mother took them back to Greece, her Spartan village, because their parents were concerned about the flu epidemic of 1919. Their father stayed in Chicago to work. In November of 1933, separated by the Great Ocean, both parents passed away within days of each other. With the help of their uncles, the three now young men returned to America in time for the Great Depression and World War II. After the war, my father settled in Brooklyn, had 7 kids. His two brothers were bachelors all their lives, and they settled in Long Island, Center Mauritius. My father started working in Harry's restaurant. He started out as a dishwasher, worked hard, was very dependable, and he always smiled when he said this: I became a cook on people's stomachs, meaning he sort of experimented, and if nobody complained too much, he kept the recipe. And naturally, he took his meal break during a slow time of the day. Now, Harry always dressed very neatly, suit, never stepped in the hot kitchen. His post was the cash register, ka-ching. And he started noticing my father started eating steak. And it was getting to Harry. Steak today? Steak yesterday? He's going to have steak tomorrow. He's killing me. Obviously, he was a bottom line man before the term was in vogue. Now, my father's name in Greek was Stavros, but in America it was Steve. So finally, Harry couldn't take it anymore. He had to walk up to Steve and say something. And also, this time, my father, during his meal break, would have company, a young woman named Panagiota. So, but Harry wagged his finger and said, Steve, steak no good for you, Steve. Steak no good for you. Well, my father knew the restaurant business was not a democratic institution. Also, pun intended, the stakes were much higher. He needed to impress Panagiota. Well, one of the perennials on the menu was spaghetti. And overnight things changed. My father developed this addiction to spaghetti. He'd put a mountain of it on his plate with butter and cheese. And Harry noticed, oh boy, spaghetti. I mean, it was a cheap dish. It was actually pre-cooked. When you needed it, grabbed a handful, you put it in a strainer in a pot of boiling water that was always kept on the stove, where they accompany meatballs or clams. Oh, Harry was happy. He couldn't contain himself. He walked over, oh, Steve, spaghetti good for you, Steve. Spaghetti good for you, Steve. Well, when Harry was safely back at the cash register, my father, with a wink towards Panagiota, took his fork, pushed the spaghetti to himself, and enjoyed the steak. Now remember, none of his 7 kids were around then, but I'm pretty sure he doubly enjoyed the company of Panagiota too. Thanks for listening.